Yeah, Patrick Christys on Love Sport. Happy Friday, everybody. 0208 70 20 558 is the number to dial, or on Twitter. We have had some tweets coming in, by the way, about that last section on appalling co-worker personal hygiene. Unfortunately, some of them are not fit for broadcast, although that has never stopped us before. Now, Kleenex. You may have seen, you may even indeed have some in your pocket right now. Kleenex are rebranding their man-sized tissues, right? Because they've had complaints about gender inequality, about these man-sized tissues. They're now going to be calling them, apparently, Kleenex Extra Large. Okay, now, it's just raised some interesting topics for me, because apparently there was a chef as well. Was it Heston Blumenthal? I think I had the gentleman's sandwich. Well, that's now stopping because it's got the word gentleman in, because, apparently anyone can eat it, which I think we all already knew. But on the line is Mike Buchanan. He's leader of the political party Justice for Men and Boys, and he's, needless to say, a men's rights advocate. Mike, thanks for coming on. What do you make about all this relentless push to ban anything with the word man in the name?
Well, it's just, these are pathetic women, aren't they? Kimberly-Clark, the manufacturers of Kleenex Mansize, should have said publicly to the whiny women, look, darling, you must have a very charmed life if you can find time to whine about what we call our products. Now, stop being so pathetic. We're not going to change the name.
Okay, but why do you think, though, that people are giving in to this? Is it not because there's a grain of truth in this misogyny?
No, it's not. It's because, men individually and collectively, they always respond to women whining with trying to stop them whining. Even if women whine about the most pathetic matters. And it's the same in all walks of life, Patrick. So feminists whined about the number of female MPs. So male MPs allowed the introduction of all women shortlists. And now we have appalling women such as Jess Bloody Phillips as MPs. Well, feminists whined about the number of women on corporate boards. So men appointed more women despite knowing the causal link between appointing more women on boards and corporate financial decline. Men always just give in to these whiners. And one indicator of a man's mental health is his readiness to say no to women. For some years, our party awarded feminists with Whiny Feminist of the Month awards, and there was never a shortage of contenders.
Is it fair to say plenty of women have said no to you in the past?
No, well, no more than to the average man, I guess. So is this sort of some attempt at a shaming tactic?
No, not at all. I'm just trying to understand.
I think it is. What else could be behind it?
No, look, I'm trying to get where this rather staunch level of hatred towards all things women seems to come from.
It's not, Patrick. I do not hate women.
You've been with me in the studio before, by the way, Mike. You know I'm not trying to mug you off. I am genuinely just intrigued, actually, seriously.
But it is. The reality is that women get a lot of power out of whining. Now, complaining about things like man-sized tissues, for God's sake. If you take the Waitrose, what was it, a wrap or something?
Yeah.
It contains gentleman's relish. Now, gentleman's relish has been around and sold since 1828, and 190 years ago. Again, Waitrose should tell that god-awful American night czar for London, Amy Lamé, to stop being so pathetic. In my local vegetable market, Patrick, there are a number of the greengrocers sell okra, a vegetable often called lady's fingers. Now, you and I wouldn't pass that and need a fainting couch, would you? What's wrong with these women? No. These special snowflakes, they're appalling.
Okay, well, certainly. One point of view. Do you think that as society we are turning towards a society of man-haters?
I think society has long been anti-male.
There are obviously issues around the fact that women weren't allowed to vote for a good number of years. Women's role in society was often seen as homemakers, etc. Women were underpaid, the gender pay gap. There are issues here.
Patrick, each of those issues would be worth half an hour in themselves. When a large number of women got the vote in 2018, it was at the same time as the large number of men. Now, most of the men who were killed or maimed in the trenches in the First World War didn't have the vote. But all we hear about is women all the time. And as for the gender pay gap, there is absolutely no evidence whatever, Patrick, that men earn more than women for the same work. What they do is go into different lines of work, which are often more challenging. They're more prepared to take senior positions. The gender pay gap, such as it is under the age of 40, is in favour of women. I've never heard that. I've never heard that mentioned on mainstream.
Are there statistics to back that up, though, Mike?
Yes, absolutely. ONS. Yes, absolutely. And it's only after the age of 40 that the gender pay gap emerges. And it's because women rein back on their work at that point.
But isn't it because they would have to take some time off with pregnancy and things like that? So there is a natural disadvantage there, isn't there?
Yes, but I mean, most women do not see that as a burden. They really would not want to be in the workplace and farm out their kids to minimum wage carers rather than look after them themselves.
Okay.
I mean, this idea that childcare is this huge burden. I mean, for normal women, by which I obviously exclude feminists, for normal women, there's a lot of pleasure and fulfilment in looking after their young children.
At what point did you find personally for you that you started to become aware of what you would regard as some issues in society with regards to the way women are treating men? Was there a particular turning point for you?
Yeah, I think it was about 9 or 10 years ago when I was going for a business consulting assignment, and this huge woman, she must have been 30 stone, dressed in black. I called her Goliath in one of my books. Basically, didn't. It was a job or an assignment, Patrick, I could have done on the train in the way into work. Quite frankly, it was so within my comfort zone, and she basically kicked me out of the building. And the agency that had sent me there admitted that I was there to keep up the numbers. And this radical feminist who was in the public sector, had never been known to take on a man. She would far sooner take on an incompetent woman.
Aren't you a radical manist, though? Aren't you a radical manist?
No, there's no such thing, Patrick, as a manist. What we are, as well as being the only men's rights party in the English-speaking world, we're also the only anti-feminist party in the English-speaking world. Okay. Because feminism is not about gender equality; it's about female supremacy and grinding men's faces into the dirt.
Well, Mike, it's certainly an interesting range of views there. Mike Buchanan, leader of the political party Justice for Men and Boys, and needless to say, a men's rights advocate as well. He clearly has some interesting views about the roles of